This video is sponsored by Chronosio. ChronoCard is the finest inventory and selling manager you can have for your card collection. It essentially scans and documents your cards so you don't have to go through them individually. You can essentially just put your cards through the scanner and it will identify what card it is. The free version is better suited to the occasional investor and collector, and the pro version is more so for the ambitious collector. ChronoCard offers you everything you need to manage your sports cards. Firstly, scanning. It will automatically associate the front and the back of each card and crop them perfectly without any intervention. Secondly, the AI documentation of the server will allow you to identify the cards and insert the information automatically into your ChronoCard. And finally, the selling tools. You can list your card on chronosio.com or on eBay using the same software. ChronoCard is free and can manage up to 2,000 cards. The Pro Lite version costs $149 a month for 10,000 cards. The Pro Premium version costs $200 for 250,000 cards. And the Pro Enterprise version for $299 a month has up to 5 million cards. With over 10,000 users and growing exponentially each month, ChronoCard is setting new rules in the trading card market. Chronosio has a special offer, a $100 discount when you purchase a scanner with ChronoCard. Link is in the description below. Without further ado, we're going to hop right into today's video, which is 5 best sports card investments that are under $100. Now, the first card we have on this list is Kawhi Leonard and his 2012 Hoops in a PSA 9 or a PSA 10. So the first reason for this is, Paul George has been on his A game this season, and the Clippers have been looking like a playoff team even without Kawhi. Now, Kawhi is expected to make a return sometime this season, and given the Clippers are already quite competitive, I believe the addition of Kawhi can potentially make them a big threat come playoff time. And in general, Kawhi is one player I feel is being very overlooked right now due to his injury. The Clippers, of course, did not quite live up to their expectations in the bubble. And then last year, Kawhi went down, with injury. So I definitely think we have yet to see, given firstly, Kawhi's only 30 years old right now. Worst comes to worst, if he does end up not making a return this season, you still have that cushion in the fact that he's still very young. He's still going to go on for another 4 or 5 years at least. After he comes back from his injury. But regardless, Kawhi is a superstar in this league, and his prices are simply incredibly cheap. Aside from his Prism, he doesn't have an Optic rookie. He doesn't have a real Select rookie. He doesn't have a Topps rookie. He doesn't have a Bowman rookie. So you really have to go to his Hoops. And I think picking these up, one of his most investable rookie cards, you can get a PSA 9 for just around $25, a PSA 10 for just around $120. I think that's an incredible investment. Going forward, it's always great to buy players when investors' eyes are off that player, because when investors' eyes come back on Kawhi when he returns, his prices are definitely going to see, a good increase in my opinion. So I definitely believe he is a very good buy right now. And without further ado, we're going to hop right into our next pick, and that is Carmelo Anthony. Carmelo has had an incredible season thus far. Of course, he's now on the Lakers. The one box that's missing a check in his career is a championship. I think the Lakers can be very competitive this year if they can finally get together, get LeBron back, and build up some real chemistry. Of course, it's speculative. No one knows what's going to happen this season. It's very unpredictable, but I believe Carmelo's prices are already undervalued compared to, how he's going to go down in the history books. Firstly, he's, always going to be tied to the 2003 iconic draft class with Wade, Melo, Bosh, and of course LeBron. So I think that's always going to drive his prices. And then, of course, Carmelo's one of the greatest scorers of all time, a sure Hall of Famer, and I think his prices are very, very low for an iconic set, a Hall of Famer, to be able to get a PSA 9 of his Topps Chrome for $100, I believe is a very sure bet, and I see only upside going up from here. So I definitely think Carmelo is a very good buy at his current prices. But without further ado, we're going to hop right into our next pick, and that is Yao Ming and his 2002 Topps Chrome. So this is more of a culture bet. So of course, Yao Ming's one of the most iconic Asian players of all time. He's a very legendary figure in China. And I think cards are going to really grow in China. Of course, now with travel more, allowed across the world, I think, a lot of the US's trends are going to make its way to China again, as it usually does when travel is allowed. A lot of stuff is getting back to normal. And I think, cards have a really good bet in China. They're very big basketball fans out there. And I think, with the big legendary figure Yao Ming is, I think his prices are very low compared to, his prominence in the world. So I think it's a very good time to be able to go ahead and get a PSA 9 of his Topps Chrome. Very low population for just around $125. So he does have a Chinese version and an English version. I believe both are very good bets. It does depend. I think his Chinese version could potentially have a little bit more upside. So if you do want to go for that, that's a great bet. But I definitely believe Yao is a very good buy right now. But without further ado, we're going to hop right into our next pick, and that is Damien Lillard's 2012 Select. I believe his PSA 9 is a very good buy at just around $120, just a little bit above that $100 mark. But if you can't afford it, I believe it's a great buy. Of course, the Blazers have struggled for, the beginning of this season, as they tend to do every single year. They struggle in the beginning of the season, and they pick it up towards the end. And, of course, Damien Lillard really shows up when it comes playoff time. Dame time, of course. He's very clutch. I believe it's a good time to buy his cards at the beginning of the season when they struggle, and then hope that, of course, as the season goes on, Dame picks up his game and his prices rise. So I believe it's a great time to be buying Damien Lillard, as it always is in the beginning of the season. But without further ado, we're going to hop right into our next pick, and that is none other than Bam Adebayo and his 2017 Optic in a PSA 9 or a PSA 10. I believe this is a, criminally undervalued card. Bam has showed in so many ways how his individual play is so closely tied to the Heat success. Bam is one of those players who's very versatile, one of the best big men in the game, in my opinion. And his prices are just so dirt cheap. I think the Heat are going to have a great season. They've got Kyle Lowry, Jimmy Butler, of course, Bam Adebayo, Tyler Hero's finally picking up his play. So I think they're going to be a very scary team to face off in the playoffs, as we saw during the bubble. So I think it's a very good time to be buying these when attention is away from the Heat, and when attention comes back to the Heat these playoffs, I believe his prices will really benefit. So I definitely believe this is a very good buy. Thank you guys so much for watching this video, and without further ado, I'm out.